Oh, yes, indeed. This is WVUD and WVUD HD1 Newark, 9 o'clock in the morning, down here in the station on Academy Street. Another excellent Let's Go Cruising show, Mac. What do you expect? Mac sets the bar high, and I've been honored to follow Mac just all these many years. First with Cruising America and the great Michael Lace, and now Let's Go Cruising phoned in from his outpost in the Midwest. Thank you so much, Mac, and thank you all for tuning in. This has been a very sad and heavy week for music lovers in the Delaware Valley and in the world. We lost two beacons, two of our lighthouses here on this rocky shore. When J. Michael Foster, close to home here at the station, passed away last week. You probably know that by now. And a lot of folks say if WVUD is the voice of the University of Delaware, J. Michael Foster was the voice of WVUD. Down here for many, many years, and he's really quite irreplaceable, although his music and his legacy loom strong and will live on. And just the other day, just Wednesday, the very sad news of the passing of Dennis Melton, of the Melton Brothers Band, and a shaker in our community, especially in Kennett Square, but in Wilmington and all throughout Delaware and the Brandywine Valley. Dennis was a selfless promoter of live music, and with his brother Dale, back in the late 70s, they really put Wilmington on the map almost single-handedly with Bob Bauer Sox and a few others. They formed Fine Times magazine, and they invented and developed the outdoor cabarets that lasted for several wonderful summer years, and the loop is still going strong Halloween, but they did a monthly loop with a bus around Wilmington and just kicked the living behind of the music scene in Delaware and Chester County, even into Maryland. And Dennis is another soul that will be quite irreplaceable. In his second part of his life, he founded and was the president of the Kennett Flash, which is still going strong under Andrew Miller's fine leadership, handpicked by Dennis to carry it on. And the Flash is just one of those very special award-winning venues in our area that we are so lucky to have, and it was through Dennis's vision and his single-handed determination. He was an architect by day, but he was a killer musician by night. So I'll dedicate my shows to Dennis and Michael today, and we'll concentrate. I'll play a lot of Dennis's music, and I'll play some of the music that Michael loved. I had the distinct honor of not just once, but twice, being asked by Michael to substitute for him on his Avenue C show. And I remember the first time I nervously accepted, and he said, "Just play your Western swing, they'll love it." And I always appreciated that from Michael, letting me come down here in the evenings and play some jazz with the likes of Pat Goodhope and J. Michael and his Avenue C crew. And, of course, he was a librarian here at the university, the music library. But before I get carried away, let me get going. I'm going to start off with my weekly theme song, since I think that it's appropriate. "Whistle While You Work" by NRBQ.
the broom. It's someone that you love, and soon you'll find you're dancing to the tune. Whistle while you work, yeah, whistle while you work. It won't take long when there's a song to whistle while you work.
Well, like so many of my generation, February 9th, 1964 was just the ground zero, the night the Beatles first appeared on Ed Sullivan, and Dennis and Dale were young fellas down in Dover, where their dad was an officer at the air base, and the brothers were sitting around watching Ed Sullivan, and they got it like we all got it, and said, you know, let's form a band. Thank God they did. The first band that I ever saw of the Melton Brothers was a band called the Prodigals when I was in ninth grade in 1967. They played a holiday dance that I was lucky enough to somehow wander into. And the Prodigals were all in matching Irish knit sweaters with a van out in the parking lot with a professional paint job that said the Prodigals of Dover, Delaware. And they were just the best band. Dennis on bass and Dale on keyboards as they would play for the next 50-plus years. And I remember being a young Bob Dylan devotee. I had just gotten John Wesley Harding a week or so before that. It had just been released, and darned if they didn't play a John Wesley Harding tune there in their matching outfits. But I want to play a track from them at the Kennett Flash, recorded in the fall of 2014, and that was home turf in later years for the brothers, of course, and they had John Lilly on the guitar from the Hooters and from the Get Right Band, and Fred Berman on drums from the Amos Lee Group. Not a bad outfit. They had Bob Beach playing harmonica and flute, and they did this Lennon and McCartney song that night.
I call your name, but you're not there. Was I to blame for being unfair? Oh, I can't sleep at night since you've been gone. I never weep at night. I can't go on. Don't you know I can't take it? I don't know who can. I'm not gonna make it. I'm not that kind of man. Oh, I can't sleep at night, but just the same, I never weep at night. I call your name. Go on, play it, John. Just the same, I never weep at night. I call your name. I call your name. I call your
And then they when I first came back from New Hampshire, we drove down all day long, left bright and early from the hills of New Hampshire, and got in. And Jimmy Russell said Baird, Timmy, Phil, and I were dog tired. He said, "No, we got to run over to the Blue Boar Inn and catch this band. You guys will love them." The Watson Brothers band. Well, I knew who Wayne and Gary were. I'd never heard them before in their incarnation together. But so we went on over to the Blue Boar, and their playing was the greatest 5-piece band I think I had ever heard, with Dale on his Hammond B3 Booker T organ lines, Wayne on the electric and Gary on the electric, Pup Williams on the bass, and behind the drum kit sat Dennis Melton. And I can't remember if Hank Carter was sitting in with them that night or not, but I remember thinking to myself, gosh, if this is what we're up against in the Wilmington, Delaware area, it is going to be tough.
Moonlight in your eyes, so bright and so delightful. Believe in me, please believe in me. It's so easy. It's easy to please me. So fine all night. Then I break on down and cry. Believe in me, please believe in me. It's so easy. It's easy to please me. Moonlight in your eyes, so bright and so delightful. Believe in me, please believe in me. It's so easy. It's easy to please me. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la la la, la 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 la. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la.
But before we left New Hampshire, the summer of '75, we were in a studio in Putney, Vermont. And in the control room was a poster advertising the Washboard Bill Trio with a 302 area code. I said, "Oh, that's a Delaware group." And I think I did recognize Dennis and Dale. They were sitting there in bolo ties and Western attire, and in the center of the group was Washboard Bill Allman at a washboard, and looking every bit as distinguished as he was. And I remember thinking, gosh, these guys look like a Dan Hicks song. And so I later got to see them with Washboard Bill, who they played with off and on throughout their whole career. And this is from their Washboard Bill Allman collection, a great take on a great classic melody here. And I always loved seeing those three together. And then there was a new kid in town back in 76 or so. Miss Alfie Moss came down, I believe, from Philadelphia, and we first met her at the barn door. And she got up, and I think I was playing the cabasso on something, and she said, "Please let me show you how to play that." And she did. And so it wasn't long before the Melton Brothers incorporated Alfie into their band, into their sound. And they put out Living in the City, which actually became a big hit many years later in, I believe, Japan and into Europe, and got repressed. And it was really exciting to watch the success and the progress of Living in the City with Ms. Alfie Moss. I believe this is in Bacchus. Oh, yes. And sometime in the mid-'80s, the brothers, who had been living right in the heart of Wilmington for many years as they were working for the city and for the valley, they started to migrate up to Chester County around the same time I did. In fact, I came up out of Wilmington in '87, and I think that's right around the same time that they migrated north and west, and they had stopped playing with Alfie exclusively. Early '80s. There's a great YouTube clip on the Bob Weiner show from January of '81 with Dennis and Dale and Tyrone on drums and the great Pete Mayforth playing sax. You can check that out. That's a lot of fun. But they talk about their working with the city and with the fine times. And so they moved up toward Kennett Square. Dale kind of ended up a little bit north of Kennett, and Dennis was right there in the heart and got his degree in architecture. And among the many classic designs, he came up with the Music Pavilion in Anson B. Nixon Park, which is just one of the great places to play and to see music. And that was Dennis's design and his construction. I believe Walt Burkall worked closely hand in hand with Dennis over the years. But they would get back together with Alfie, and it was always very momentous when they did. And there was a little coffee house in Kennett that's no longer there called Harrington's, a wonderful little spot that would showcase music from time to time on the weekends and on Sunday afternoons. And the brothers played there, and in fact they recorded a CD there. And one of the highlights for me is a song that Dennis wrote that he also sang in later years at the Flash. I have it on the Flash CD. But this is Alfie singing Dennis's great composition called Isn't It Enough? And then I thought we'd go, this is at Harrington's in 2004, and then I thought we'd slip into one of Gary Watson's, another one of Gary's great songs that they covered. They covered Robin Eaton and Gary Watson and Wayne. They did a couple of Wayne songs. But here's Alfie and the brothers, the Melton Brothers, with Dennis Melton's Isn't It Enough?
praises to the Creator. Thank you.
If Booker T and Paul McCartney had been twins, which some might think they were, they would have been the Melton Brothers. What a rhythm section. The Melton Brothers with Alfie Moss at Harrington's. And, of course, you can't be an incredible musician and not be in demand. And they were always, in fact, Dale was one of the founding partners, members of the great Jack of Diamonds that came out of downstate and became a mainstay of the Stone Balloon and of other nightclubs with Ed Shockley. And they teamed up in I guess in the mid-'90s with Kevin Walsh and Dennis, and recorded an album. And I believe Ed still has Vinyl Shockley up and running. But their first album just really knocked me out, and it was recorded at Dale's studio on Van Buren Street. I think that he maintained that studio for quite a while. I was never lucky enough to record there, but I did meet Dennis in '76. We were lucky enough to have Steve Hobson join our band back in '76, and he took a little break to go off and get a degree in computer sciences. And while he was on hiatus for about 6 months, we had Wayne Watson fill in, and we were lucky enough to have Wayne. He was taking a little break. The Watson brothers were shopping their demos around, so they weren't playing out as much, and so Wayne was filling his off time playing with us. And in that period of time, I decided I wanted to do a little recording on my own, and Wayne said, "Oh, you got to get Dennis to sit in and play drums with you." So we practiced up at their little garage studio on Gilpin Street. But I'm getting ahead of my story here. I want to go back to Vinyl Shockley with Kevin Walsh on guitar and Ed Shockley on the drums and the brothers, and they recorded one of my favorite Arthur Alexander songs, of course, back to their Beatles songbook here. Vinyl Shockley featuring Ed Shockley and with production assistance from the great Dave Durr, Pride of Seaford, Delaware, and Anna. Well, as I say, I met Dennis in 1976, and we worked up an album called Word of Mouth with Dave Barry on bass and Wayne Watson on guitar and producing it. We worked with Joe McSorley up in Veritable Studios, Lansdowne, up in Pennsylvania there, and it was a wonderful experience for me. I'd never really worked in the studio before and worked with a crew like this, and I was really fortunate, so I thought I'd play a track. Dennis played the drums on this one, and it was a real treat to work with his sense of rhythm and his sense of listening to the lyrics and playing to the songs. I'd only been working with Jimmy Russell, who was an excellent drummer, and I really loved Jim's playing. And he was he was coming out of that Martha Lidd rock and roll drum style, and these songs kind of were crying out for a different sound. And then I'm going to play, after this song from my Word of Mouth album, I'm going to play a track of the Sin City Band at the Kennett Flash with Dennis on bass and backing up Billy Penberger, who was a good friend of all of ours. He used to play bass with the Get Right Band and then went on to become a solo performer around Chester County before his untimely passing. And we did a song of Billy's, and Dennis and Billy went on to play with Dennis's son Michael. Dennis and Donna, of course, sang and played together all the time, his wife Donna, and it was no accident that their son Michael became an incredible singer and piano player, and they formed a little trio with Billy Penberger. But we'll get to that after this track. This is Dennis on the drums on a song of mine called Wonderful.
Long ago, of course they knew the way. Four were gone and one was gone as they sat in the glow of a sun that couldn't stay. The strangers snapped their photograph, capturing the spell of innocence unscarred. Night would fall, the fire was lit, the stories they could tell as the sparks flew toward the stars. Oh, wonderful, wonderful, the fire that kept away the cold. Oh, wonderful, wonderful, to feel the fire in your soul. She is the oasis in this desert full of doubt, where the heat screams like a slave. I was wondering if I could sweat it out, when came the whisper of the shade. Oh, wonderful, wonderful, feel the breeze is so kind. Oh, wonderful, wonderful, eases me out of my mind. Point of letting go. Oh, wonderful, wonderful, the galleons from the sky are sailing low, sailing low.
I'm going to play my wife's favorite song. She's not here to hear, but you can all tell her about it. a joke, laugh your ass off funny. Sometimes the gig is surefire, easy money. Sometimes the sky is blue and bright. Sometimes your eyes light up the night. These are the times I am living for. Sometimes it's bad what you eat for dinner. Sometimes you're blessed with the good luck of the beginner. Sometimes we lock our arms and go one blind leap into the next below. These are the times I am living for. Bridge, fellas. I had my share of life and pain to get to where I'm standing. I would do it all again to find this happy ending. Sometimes I wish we could live like this forever. Sometimes I wonder how we ever came together. Sometimes I think that it could be somebody's watching over me. These are the times I am living for. Sometimes I think it really could be somebody out there who's looking out for me. These are the times I am living for. My darling, these are the times I am living for. Thanks a lot.
Billy Penberger with Dennis Melton on those sweet-tempered harmonies. These are the times. Here's Morning Jam with Washboard Bill. Boy, I used to love playing with Bill Allman, washboard Bill, on that old ancient washboard. His daddy built him when he was 9, and especially if the Meltons were in the house. What fun that was. Well, as we continue remembering Dennis, I got to play. They were instrumental in my appreciation and turning me on to the great Dan Hicks and his Hot Lick.
I've talked to your mother and I've talked to your dad. They say they've tried, but it's all in vain. I've begged and I've pleaded, I've even got mad. Now we must face it, you give me a pain. How can I miss you when you won't go away? Keep telling you day after day, but you won't listen, you always stay and stay. How can I miss you when you won't go away? Your never-ending presence really cramps my style. I dream that it won't always be the same. At first I was attracted, but after a while, have you ever heard of a hard to get game? How can I miss you when you won't go away? I keep telling you day after day, but you won't listen, you always stay and stay. How can I miss you when you won't go away? I mean it too. Cut me loose. Just do me a favor and listen to my plea. I'm not the only chicken on the roost. How can I miss you when you won't go away? Keep telling you day after day, but you won't listen, you always stay and stay. How can I miss you when you won't go away?
Papa thinks it's pretty, but it's almost blind. Don't let out much, except at night. And I don't care, 'cause I'm alright. Oh, the sun shines bright on my old Kentucky farm, and the young boys roll on the floor. Oh, the sun shines bright on my old Kentucky farm, and keep them hard times away from my door. Up last night, kicking mama down the stairs. I'm alright, so I don't care. What the sun shines bright on my old Kentucky farm, and the young folks roll on the floor. Oh, the sun shines bright on my old Kentucky farm, keep them hard times away from my door. Turpentine and dandelion wine, I've turned the corner and I'm doing
And at 10 o'clock, this is WVUD and WVUD HD1 Newark, voice of the University of Delaware. Scott Birney in the root spot as I'm remembering dear friend Dennis Melton, who passed away this past week. And a real tragedy, and our hearts go out to Donna, Michael, and his brother Dale, and all the folks who will miss Dennis and the Meltons so much. I am at the top of that list. And thanks to Andrew Miller for continuing Dennis's legacy at the Flash. We hope that you'll get out. They had a fine crowd last night for their rooftop series at the Kennett Parking Garage, and we hope that you'll support that, check it out, and keep the Flash going. Well, as I go into a little set remembering J. Michael Foster, I think one more Melton Brothers tune would fit right in here, doing a classic that J. Michael might approve of on his Avenue C by Duke Ellington, of course. Don't get around much anymore. And then we'll play some of those great tunes that J. Michael loved.
Mr. Saturday Dance, heard the crowd at the floor, different without you, babe. I don't get around much anymore. Thought I'd visit the club, only got as far as the door. Without you, babe, don't get around much anymore. Yeah, John. Darling, I guess my mind's low at ease. Nevertheless, why stir up memories? Been invited on days, might have gone, but what for? But different without you, babe. I don't get around much anymore. Let me play a little bit. Piano.
If you're feeling sad and lonely, there's a service I can render. Tell the one who loves you only, I can be so warm and tender. Call me, don't be afraid, you can call me. Maybe it's late, but you call me. Tell me and I'll be around. If it seems your friends desert you, there's somebody thinking of you. I'm the one who never hurt you. Maybe it's because I love you. Call me, don't be afraid, you can call me. Maybe it's late, but you call me. Tell me and I'll be around. Now don't forget me, 'cause if you let me, I will always stay by you. You gotta trust me, that's how it must be. There's so much that I can do. If you call, I'll be right with you. You and I should be together. Take this love I long to give you. I'll be at your side forever. Call me. Don't be afraid, you can call me. Maybe it's late, but you call me. gotta trust me. That's all.
Whoops. Oh well. Had a little glitch there. Sorry about that. From Astrid Gilberto with Call Me. And that's with the Walter Wanderley Trio that I love. And it just kind of skipped around on me. I apologize. And remind you, this is WVUD and WVUD HD1 closing out the Roots Show here. Scott Birney, Larry Carr will be in the studio this morning. I'm very happy to announce. Thank you all for tuning in to my little tribute to Dennis Melton and J. Michael Foster, two giants of music that will be sorely missed. That was Buddy Emmons before Astrid Gilberto with the Cherokee Indian Love Song, and a couple from Doug and Bucky. I know Bucky Pizzarelli was one of Michael Foster's go-to guitar players, and that's a duet that pedal steel and guitar, wonderful record. The only time I know of those two getting together, Moonlight in Vermont around midnight. And I think that I'll get ready to close out my portion of the show this morning with Pat Goodhope, Michael's good friend and co-host on Avenue C, Wednesday evenings on Avenue C, burned me two wonderful Bucky Pizzarelli and the West Texas Tumbleweeds. Bucky's take on the great Texas swing library, as he's known on these, he's Buck Pizzarelli. And there's Digging Up Bones and Back in the Saddle Again. I really appreciate Pat burning me those. They are wonderful CDs. I play them all the time. And I thought we'd go out this morning's show with an appropriate cowboy tune by Dale Evans. Thank you again for tuning in. And please hold Dennis and J. Michael in your hearts and in your musical thoughts. And hold them, bring them to the light, hold them there. And I'll sign off, and thank you all so much for tuning in.
Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling on till then. Who cares about the clouds when we're together? Just sing a song and bring the sunny weather. Happy trails to you till we meet again. About the clouds when we're together. Just sing a song and bring the sunny weather. Happy trails to you till we meet again. Happy trails